sixth game that you beat in 2018 was Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2. What is the first thing that stands out to you about this game?
Guilty Gear is a tough one because, well, first of all, let me get this out of the way. The game on a production level is a masterpiece. It's got by far the best tutorial of any fighting game out there. The story mode, each character actually has their own animated cutscenes. I think as far as setting the bar, setting the standard for what modern fighting games should be, it did everything perfect. I think one of the reasons though why it's not like my favorite fighting game of all time is because I'm really not your stereotypical anime fan. And the game is very, very, very anime. And it's kind of a love-hate thing because on one hand, the game is so well done. I mean, it is just top-notch. I wish so bad SNK was able to do with their games what Arc Systems has done as far as graphics, because they are actually 3D models, but they look like really smooth polygon 2D models. The backgrounds are amazing. The people who wrote the music are very, very talented. It's not my style of music. Just the combination of Nickelback and System of the Down and just the crappiest metal. It's so subjective, you know. People are going to totally disagree with me, and I get that, you know. Music is completely subjective nowadays. There's a couple songs in Guilty Gear that are really, really good. I think the reason why Guilty Gear is not as popular than some of the other fighting games like Tekken or Street Fighter, it's not that it's because it's too hard. It's because there's so much to remember. There's so many mechanics. You've got light punch, and then you got kick, slash, heavy slash, and now you have dust as a button, which acts as an overhead or a sweep for a knockdown. And on top of that, you've got all these mechanics, like you have to do faultless defense, otherwise you're going to get destroyed. I played Guilty Gear for a year before I even knew what faultless defense was. I did the tutorial, but there was just so much information that I immediately forgot it because they talked about it within like the first 2 lessons. You've got Blitz, then you got Danger Time, you've got Roman Cancel, which is cool, but now you've got YRC, which is Yellow Roman Cancel, Purple Roman Cancel, and you've got Red Roman Cancel. Not only do you have a sheet this long of just basic universal mechanics, now you have to learn the matchups, because the matchups are just as deep as they are in Tekken. Because some things work against this character, what won't work against this character. No wonder the game isn't as more popular as it should be, you know? It's like, it's such a good game, but oh my gosh, there's so much to remember. And like, we'll have really, really smart people trying to teach me Guilty Gear, and I'm trying to focus on just blocking. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I need to be using faultless defense so that way I have pushback, so that way I can actually get out of it. And the whole time he's like, oh, you could have insta-killed me there. The last thing I was thinking about was insta-kill. Once again, another mechanic that's universal to all the characters, but you're like, I'm just trying to stay alive. I don't have time to think about all 22 different mechanics, universal mechanics that each character have when I'm just trying to concentrate on what your overhead is. It's such a good game, but man, my biggest problem with it is that if you want to get good at Guilty Gear, it pretty much has to be the only fighting game that you play, or else you don't stand a chance, both at your local scene or in the competitive level. That has to be your favorite game. Like, even though they did everything they possibly could to try to bring it to newcomers, and it has the best, I still think its tutorial is way better than Unia's tutorial, because they actually incorporate mini games into it to try to make the learning fun, rather than Unia's where you sit there for 3 hours and just read text all day. They did everything they could to try to make that game accessible to new people, but if you're not already a fan of fighting games, Guilty Gear is cool. You're going to hate Guilty Gear. You have to be a fan of fighting games to like Guilty Gear.
But is there even anything that they could improve with the game?
Nobody likes Danger Time. Get rid of it. If nobody likes it, even on the low level or the high level play, get rid of it. There's no need to have Danger Time where when 2 swords clash, it turns into Mortal Counter, you know? Instead, make it cooler. Make it like Samurai Showdown, where if 2 swords clash at the same time, whoever mashes out the fastest, you know, like that, then they're the one that gets the advantage, or whatever, you know, like the other person is the one that gets the hits done. Another thing, I don't understand the point of Blitz. The way you counter Blitz is by blitzing back. So if you try to attack someone and they blitz your attack, the way you retaliate back to them is just blitz them right back. What's even the point? Just get rid of it. One less thing you have to think about. And I know I'm going to get so much hate for this video because people who are hardcore fans of Guilty Gear and it's like all they play, they like Blitz. It just seems like one extra tool that you have to keep in the back of your mind that doesn't really need to be there. It doesn't have to be there to make the game fun. And then I like Roman cancel. Why can't there just be simply one colored Roman cancel? Why does there have to be 3 different colors of Roman cancel? You can't dash grab in Guilty Gear. The best way to dash grab is to dash at him, then like for a split second, hit the inputs for faultless defense, and then even before the animation comes out, then grab him. Why? Why is that necessary? Why do you have to do like an invisible animation to get a dash grab?
If you were to give it an overall rating, what would it be?
So for newbies, you know, like people who want to get into fighting games, stay away from it, you know, like 8. On a production level, as in artistic, sound design, great. I mean, like as far as in like how much work and love they put into it, easily, you know, 9.7, 9.8. They're flawless. They put animated cutscenes, they have a whole movie included so you can learn the story. They put so much love into it on a production level. It's like one of the greatest fighting games ever in terms of production. On a competitive level, you have to be Asian. Like, you have to be one of those people who your parents forced you to play Chopin when you were a little kid, and then when you rebelled against your parents and went to the arcades, you played fighting games for like the last 20 years, and then you were like, whoa, Guilty Gear is awesome. You have to be like one of those kind of intellectual people. It is a very good fighting game, but it's so unfriendly. You can't recommend it, but at the same time you watch it at high level playing, you're just like, these people are geniuses, you know? How do you rate that?